This podcast is part of the Gonna Geek Network. The opinions expressed may not represent other podcasts or affiliates of Gonna Geek. Check out more podcasts at GonnaGeek.com and get ready because geekness starts in 3, 2, 1.
You have been granted clearance level 10. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents of equal or higher security clearance.
And now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I'm Agent Rum Daddy.
Rum Daddy? Yeah, you change it up every time. It's supposed to be rummy.
I know. I keep you on your toes. What can I say?
Jeez. Well, everyone, welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., episode 16 of season 1. We're going to be podcasting today about the end of the beginning. Then just a reminder, you can go to legendsofshield.com or you can catch us on our voicemail at 612-888-POD0 or 612-888-7690. What Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is, we're a fan-based podcast on the TV show on ABC called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and because it's so integral in everything else, we also talk about the general Marvel universe. How you guys doing this week?
What's a TV show? You said TV.
TV?
Oy vey.
Oy vey.
Hi.
Somebody should not give me a microphone. I cannot pronounce words. Enunciate. We can't understand what you're saying.
It's a very, very busy day for all of us, so...
It is. We're actually podcasting a little bit earlier than we normally do so that Haley can go off and see Winter Soldier.
And I'm pretty excited about it. I don't even want to do this. I'm just ready to go.
I hate you.
I know. It'll be Saturday. It's Thursday night, and it'll be Saturday by the time I can actually go out and see the movie myself. But
I know, me too. I have a friend who actually called me. I was like, hey, you want to go and see Winter Soldier with me Saturday at noon? And I said, well, I'm going to the Directors Guild screening of it tonight. I hate you.
Well, we will be podcasting about Winter Soldier later on in a couple of days. So watch your feeds of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. It will be coming out. And then we'll be podcasting again next week for the episode Turn, Turn, Turn. In the meantime, though, before we get to the episode end of the beginning, we do have some news. But I guess before we do that, we got to talk about the bus because the carpet in here is getting pretty ruined lately, isn't it?
There's blood stains. There's like other bodily fluids all over the place. I have no idea what they is. It's starting to smell pretty bad in here.
We need a cleaning crew in here.
But at least, Haley, at least the knocking and pinging that was coming out of the engines, you took care of that last week. I appreciate that. Oil change, everything was done. Way to go.
It was pretty cool because she did it while we were in flight.
She's amazing.
Mad skills.
Wicked skills.
Yeah, wicked mad skills. Haley, you actually dug up some news items to talk about, didn't you?
I did. They are looking into the future a little bit. Marvel has their movies planned out through 2028. They've announced movie titles for Ant-Man and Doctor Strange like we talked about last week. They have release dates for 3 movies after that, but they haven't said what movies they're going to be releasing on those dates.
They think very highly of themselves, don't they?
Well, when a single film makes $1 billion, I think you're allowed to think a little highly of yourself.
$1 billion.
Meh.
Yeah, we talked about this last time. We'll see how far the gravy train actually works, especially since they're shaking everything up this week. You know, everything changes with Winter Soldier. We'll see.
Yes, that we will.
Yep.
And then also, Haley actually showed us the ratings that the episode got this week, the early ratings. It was slightly around what it has been, just under 6 for now. So if I'm a betting man, and I'm not, but if I'm a betting man, and by the way, I'm going to Vegas in a couple of weeks for Geekation. If I'm a betting man, I say the ratings go up at least a point, if not 2 next week.
Well, I mean, now with this episode, they got the ball rolling and it's full steam ahead.
Yeah. Especially if there's some sort of crossover or tie-in in Winter Soldier that hints at it being closely related to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I can see a lot of people coming in to see what happens next week.
I think at this point in time, it's a good bet that the Clairvoyant is a character. Maybe not named the Clairvoyant, but is a character in Winter Soldier. Has to be.
I would think so. Well, and they were talking about going to Triskelion They mentioned that a couple times in this episode. That is a S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters that we're supposed to see in the movie.
Well, that'll be exciting.
Let's see. The Triskelion was mentioned. We were at the hub. The fridge was mentioned. The sandbox was not mentioned, but
Walter. Oh my God, what's his name? Oh, I'm from Chicago. You said the fridge. Anyway, I made a bad joke.
So yes, we've got all these places, and the S.H.I.E.L.D. Enterprise is clear and up front. We have all the main S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. We'll get to that in a second, I guess. I was so excited to get into the episode, but we have one more news item, right? Well,
William Perry.
That's not the news we were talking about.
Oh, you mean Karen Gillan whining about shaving her head?
Yeah, for Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Guardians of the Galaxy, and she had to work out for 2 whole months and work out with Zoe Saldana. Yeah, there was one of the quick snippets on IO9 mentioned that Karen Gillan at ECCC that they're talking about doing more after this, and she didn't know she would be reprising her role. So she was whining about having to shave her head and work out so much. And I saw there was a little snippet about that afterwards. There's other articles about the tie-ins between the movie Captain America Winter Soldier and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and focusing on Jasper Sitwell, Agent Sitwell, who I'm starting to really dig.
We really get into Sitwell in the later movies here in the series, as well as the one-shots. So all the agents that have been on the fringe, we Jeez, I just can't talk today. All the agents that have been on the fringe were in this episode, as I was so revving to say a couple minutes ago. And hey, it's all hands on deck. It's going to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. movie, and we have a S.H.I.E.L.D.-centric episode. It's not just the team, it's the entire S.H.I.E.L.D. enterprise. So we will definitely see how this all turns out. But Sitwell, yep, I like him. I like what was that? Item 47 one shot that he starred in. Agent Blake was in that as well. So
he was also in the one shot conversation between him and Coulson when they were in the diner sitting across from each other.
Right.
Yeah, actually, that was in 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
A funny thing happened on the way to Thor's hammer, and then the consultant. Both of them, Both of those had them sitting in a diner together.
Which is what one does.
Do you know what he wasn't in?
What?
He wasn't in the Agent Carter one shot.
Well, no, he wasn't born yet.
That you know of. In any event, yes, Sitwell, love him, love Coulson, and I don't think, even Victoria Hand, I mean, you got to give it to these guys. They're really getting into their characters, so good on them.
Should we just start talking about the
I think we
episode?
I think we should. I think
yes.
we're already there.
We're already there. I mean, we should just get right into it. Am I supposed to remember Agent Triplet from a previous episode? I seem to remember him, and I'm like, where do I remember him from?
Yeah, when we met Garrett, we met him.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He came on board at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And didn't you think it was interesting at the end that Garrett made sure that he was at the hub with Simmons?
Yes.
Garrett's weaving an intricate web here. I mean, he even says it. I caught it on my second watch. While he's introducing himself to Skye officially in the little cell that they have there, and she was giving everybody the cell phones, he basically says, "Turn, turn, turn," which is the title of the next episode. And Garrett was Ward's SO, and Coulson is asking Ward who ordered him to shoot Nash, and definitely, it's got Garrett written all over him. Now, I don't think
I just don't trust that guy. He's too friendly for a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
Yeah, with the showing off his 3rd-degree burns and stuff. Didn't that kind of remind you of, what was that, Lethal Weapon 3 with Mel Gibson and Rene Russo showing each other their war wounds?
Or in Jaws when they were showing each other their scars.
Yeah, same thing.
I haven't seen either of those movies.
You never saw Jaws?
No.
Oh, Haley. Between you never seeing Jaws and SP over here never seeing Heathers, I'm just going to have to educate you guys on great movies.
Well, I've never seen Heathers either, but...
You both disappoint me so much.
Let's not give Romy a heart attack today. We need him for the next podcast.
I'm so disappointed in you. All right, so we'll move on.
No, I want to stay on this. Garrett, I think,
Yeah.
I don't know if Garrett's the clairvoyant, but Garrett is definitely integral into this whole thing and possibly working directly with Vic, which is condescending.
Here's the thing. I've seen the show 2.5 times already, half because I caught it halfway on my second viewing. And by the way, now you guys all understand why I couldn't say a word about this, because anything I said about it would have been a spoiler for everyone. So the thing that I notice is we're all being distracted with who the clairvoyant is and all this other. There's I think I count at least 3 different storylines that are going on. And it's just a matter of who's participating in what storyline. Like May, I'm convinced that May is there just to keep watch over Coulson. That's her sole motivation, just to take care of him and make sure that everything's going on. I don't think she has anything evil hidden. I trust May. I don't trust Ward.
Yeah, because he was not in the room when the plane started to nosedive.
No, I think he was in the cockpit.
Yeah.
You do? I think, well, he could have been, but I think the plane was automatically ordered to turn. I don't think that, I guess if Agent Han has control of the plane, she could just pop the door open on the cell. So, yeah, it could be Ward. Yeah, he could be flying the plane. I mean, they made a big deal about him learning how to fly the plane earlier, so, yeah, okay.
So, do we think May is answering directly to Fury?
I think so.
Yes.
That's the sense I got.
But I think that what they're trying to make us assume is that she's answering to Han, but I think it's Fury who she's answering to. Because of that one comment when she turns to Coulson right before they enter the warehouse about meeting up with Fury, and then you could tell him everything you have on your mind.
Yeah, it seems to be a common theme. Like, she's keeping track of his well-being for his well-being's sake, and she doesn't know anything about the grander plan around. Matter of fact, when the plane does turn, her face is, I mean, okay, I'll hand it to her. She's a good actress. She looked like she was terrified because the plane was turning, and she had nothing to do with it.
However, Ward, all of his excuses were way too convenient.
Yeah. Well, Garrett, when he was talking to Skye again, mentioned that Ward is fighting. He was a specialist. He was used to being alone, but now he's part of a team, and he's fighting for somebody now, or for someone now. And I think he used that to trick Ward into killing Nash. I think he was using and abusing Ward's affection towards Skye that way. So I don't think that Ward's completely evil here, but I think that he's been manipulated because of his feelings for Skye.
I think there's something else going on. I think that Hand is running one set of ideas. She's got somebody under her thumb that she's trying to manipulate. I think the clairvoyant has a completely different agenda, and then there's the May Coulson relationship where she's keeping watch over him. That's why I said earlier I thought there were 3 different storylines going on.
Yeah.
And they're all convening at the same time, and it's a matter of saying, who do you trust, who's working for whom, and what's everyone's motivation.
Yeah, it's a more expanded version of The Bridge. I mean, The Bridge was a pretty good episode. This is definitely the best episode of S.H.I.E.L.D. yet.
I'm really glad I got to see it on a really big screen. In a crowded arena with everyone's reactions.
Did they talk at all about the episode, or did they just shut it down and say, okay, we can't talk about it, here's your panel?
That's it. They just shut it down. Because what happened was they knew that we were going to be streaming live. So the episode was over, and then one of the Jeffs came out and asked everyone to keep their mouths shut, and then he introduced Felicia Day. She said the same thing, and then they started live streaming and introduced the panel.
So you guys didn't have any opportunity to ask the panel what you just saw. That sucks.
Nope. Well, I mean, people tried. You know, there were a lot of people who were asking if you saw the live stream. A lot of people were asking the actors and the writers of where they think it would go, you know, trying to project into the future. And they were all pretty good at keeping their mouths shut.
Yep. It's like they're professionals or something.
Something like that.
It's like they had talking points.
Unlike we do.
One of the scariest parts of this whole episode was when May was chasing Fitz through the plane.
I'm surprised she let him leave the room. Like,
yeah, me too.
She knows he was poking around. She knows he probably found her secret phone. Why did she let him leave? That's all I was thinking.
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing. And then at the end when she's like, they're not real bullets. They're stunners or
Nights, icers, whatever.
Icers. She goes, they're icers. But when she shot him, she didn't, she hit the bulletproof glass, but it was right in the head and right in the middle of the chest. And I'm like, yeah, shot with anything at point blank range, right in your forehead, you're down.
At least Fitz didn't get knocked out this episode. Not that we saw anyway.
He's precious when he's asleep.
So May, you could tell at the end, May kind of wants to tell Phil, Agent Coulson, and Skye what's going on, but she says she can't. Why can't she?
She's a good soldier. She's been ordered not to. She's not going to.
Exactly.
After everything they've been through, her loyalty is above her head and not to the team?
She's a good soldier.
Yeah, if her loyalty were to the team, she would have told Coulson what she was sent there to do a while ago.
Yeah,
she's on a mission.
This was log entry 95. It's been doing it for a while.
Now, since we're jumping around, I would like to bring up that we got to see Brad Dourif as Thomas Nash. I love Brad. I love and hate Brad Dourif because he's such an odd looking guy, and he's a great actor, but he's just so bizarre and creepy looking. But the characters that he plays, he fits so perfectly into. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was like an Alien Resurrection, and he did a few episodes of like Star Trek Voyager. He's the voice of Chucky. He's done a lot of things that when you see him pop up, he's so recognizable. You're like, I know who that is. And I'd like to see him again, even though Ward did just kill him. Yeah. Well, the second time through, I watched his eyes because I was like, if it's not him speaking, he knows he's in a world of crap. He's in this room with a bunch of hardware around them, and supposedly it's his words showing up on the screen. And I was like, the only way he can, because he's completely paralyzed, the only way he can show his expression is through his eyes. And he's just looking directly at who he's supposed to be talking to. And it's not fear or anything. It's just, he's just peering in. There is no, oh my gosh, I'm about to die, or where is this going to go, or I'm scared. I thought that was interesting to note.
Well, they said when they were going to look at him as one of the potential clairvoyants that he was a vegetable. So theoretically, he doesn't have any brain activity at all, and his eyes are just staring straight ahead.
But they were looking right at Coulson.
Coulson was standing right in front of him.
All right.
Now, speaking of when they each went off to interview the prospective clairvoyants and find out who they were, one of the things that really bugged me was when Triplet and Ward went to the prison. I didn't see one guard anywhere.
No,
like not even when they checked in. There was no. It was like the most abandoned prison ever. And they go up to the desk where there should be somebody 24/7. Even if they got up to go to the bathroom, somebody has to. There was nobody at the desk.
Yeah, that was meant to relay that it could have been any three of them were in danger, or all three of them were in danger, because at the same time Coulson and Garrett were being blocked in at the road construction. That was awfully convenient.
There was a lot of convenience going on.
Well, I mean, it's a television episode of superheroes, so yeah.
Too easy.
They also saved money on an extra.
Yeah.
They just had a stagehand open and shut the door really fast.
Something that I noticed, if we're going to nitpick here, something that I noticed was when when they're assaulting into where Deathlock is. We got to talk about Deathlock too, but when they're assaulting where Deathlock is and where ultimately Nash is in the abandoned racetrack, they go in and everybody's in tactical gear except for Agent Phil Coulson.
Right.
What are they going to do? Kill him?
May.
And May, well, yeah, she's not in tactical gear, but at least she's in gear that's more conducive to assault. And, I just got to think, whenever we see Agent Coulson in actual tactical gear, buckle up, folks. It's going to be a hefty ride.
See, you were noticing that, and I couldn't keep my eyes off of all the S.H.I.E.L.D. logos all over the
S.H.I.E.L.D. branding.
Bill Paxton, when they're standing in the circle, and Bill Paxton, he had one hand on his hip and the other hand in that old coffee mug. It had a big old S.H.I.E.L.D. logo right on it.
How far does it go? How far?
The S.H.I.E.L.D. tattoos, the tramp stamps.
You don't want to know. Yeah.
Also, they talked about right before that raid, the only reason that Ward is on Coulson's team is because Garrett wanted him there.
Yeah, to take the hard edges off, right? To smooth them over.
Or so he says.
That's the other problem that I have with Ward. I think Ward is working directly with Garrett because Ward, the pass that they've created for him is that he's the number one in his game. He's a soldier, and he carries out. He's basically the male version of May in many ways, and suddenly he's acting on pure emotion. I don't believe that.
Coulson doesn't believe it either. That's why he said, "Who ordered you to shoot him?"
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cut it out. And Ward's trying to avoid the interrogation, and it's just not working. I think if Phil had more time with Grant, then things would have been different. But he got taken out of the room to deal with the whole Fitz-May situation.
How convenient.
Yes. So, Deathlock. My goodness, the guy is not a man anymore.
No, he's a video game. He totally is a video game. And I'm here's the thing, because I do play a lot of video games, not a ton, but I like to play video games, and lately I've been playing a lot of Lara Croft. I'm starting to watch action movies. I'm starting to watch action movies like they were video games. So when we're looking through his eyes or his eye, and then he sees Coulson and Paxton over there, and they're completely outlined in red. I'm like, oh, that's how I know if they're dangerous and they're coming after me, in video game world.
Yeah.
It's all very video game-ish to me.
The way that wrist, I don't know what to call it, the wrist armor come and attaches itself to him and then embeds itself into, basically takes the place of his arm. Wow. How painful could that be?
For a little bit, but wouldn't you want one?
I don't know. Those little mini rockets are pretty cool.
Right.
I guess it depends on how much, how many, what's the magazine? How many shots do I have?
Depends what level you're on.
Okay. I'll go with that.
If you're on level 16, you might have, to play on what level you're playing on. If it's easy, medium, or hard, you'll get more bullets.
So Sky mentions that she wants to make the op a double blind one, and Garrett's all over that. I like the way you think.
The plan sounded kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Well, they're trying to compartmentalize information in case the clairvoyant can actually read minds. But as we discover, the clairvoyant can hack any computer out there or any file that S.H.I.E.L.D. has. So I guess it doesn't matter that they both didn't know where they were going because the clairvoyant actually knew both.
By hacking into the system and knowing, but by being a better hacker than her.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, is it a little bit too convenient that they actually happen to have an extra S.H.I.E.L.D. badge to make her a full-on S.H.I.E.L.D. agent now?
You never know when you have to deputize somebody.
What, do they have a drawer somewhere locked away with a bunch of extra S.H.I.E.L.D. badges? It's like, oh, let's just pull one out of here.
It could have been Coulson's original one.
She never went to, she never went to the S.H.I.E.L.D. training camp like everyone else did, and it was a little bit too convenient.
No, but
Coulson could have been planning to make her an agent for a while now.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I think he was.
And she was shot. I mean, Sitwell was never shot. She was shot.
Sitwell was beaten up a lot, though.
Yeah, he did. Oh, poor Agent Sitwell.
Mm.
Agent Blake, though, I think had the raw end of the deal this episode.
I really thought he was dead. Nobody could take a chest kick like that, like just with a character like Deathlock and live.
I thought it was a Deathlock boot to the head, personally.
Yeah, no, it was in the chest, because when they do the wide shot, you can see he hit him right in the chest, and the head and the shoulders go flying up. Well,
as much as of a slime ball as we have thought Blake was, he was thinking on his feet. He tagged Deathlock. Nicely done, Agent Blake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. When he was shooting, I was like, didn't he just shoot like 5 shots? Why is he changing clips?
Yeah, you got to think those guns have like 15 or 16 rounds in them.
Haley, did you really count the rounds?
Always. I always count the rounds because it bothers me in movies when they do like 20 shots from a single pistol clip.
And yet, I'm a stickler on things, and I always forget to count. But I'm so proud of you that you did that.
Did you learn that growing up on Clint Eastwood movies?
I don't watch a lot of Clint Eastwood or any.
She doesn't know who Clint Eastwood is. She's very young. She hasn't seen Jaws.
Yeah, he's that guy that talked to an empty chair.
Right.
Oh, the millennials. Never knowing the
I watched
true
Walker,
classic.
Texas Ranger.
Okay.
You know that turns us into, hey, kids, get off of my lawn.
It does. Oh, kids these days. They're loud music.
You did do one of those a couple weeks ago.
I did. I did more than one. I did it again. So, oh, I need to stop that.
The one thing that I do notice when I watch a lot of TV is that every once in a while I get slapped in the face with product placement. And this time I noticed that all the S.H.I.E.L.D. SUVs were all
Lexuses.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, look, we're driving a Lexus.
Haven't they all been Lexuses since the beginning?
Yeah.
Lexi?
Lexi.
Right.
No idea. Very expensive.
Yeah.
Probably $75,000 vehicles or more.
It's very I like that the S.H.I.E.L.D. logo goes over, Apple or any other major products, but then it's like, oh no, but we drive a Lexus.
It's like, if you pay, we'll move the S.H.I.E.L.D. logo.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. We'll remove the CGI that is the S.H.I.E.L.D. logo from yours.
Welcome to trade outs, the world of trade outs and product placement. What was it? I just saw something recently where you see the main character drinking a Pepsi.
I've seen some Coke recently.
I've been watching Raising Hope lately, and they have so much product placement, and they really hang their hat on it, too.
Oh, yeah. No, wait. My favorite product placement ever was in Eureka, and they had like 2 episodes where all the employees over at the at Global, whatever, at the
Global Dynamics.
At Global Dynamics, when they were wearing their lab jackets, on the back of the lab jacket, in a gigantic, just huge patch on the back of the lab jacket, was Degree antiperspirant.
Are you guys ready to cross the streams here? Buckle up.
Here we go.
Okay. In Arrow, I do a podcast on Arrow called the Starling Tribune. It is in the DC universe, so don't shoot me here. But in Arrow, the entire first season had a product placement of the Surface, the Microsoft Surface tablets, and the Windows 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really obvious. They would show extended shots of people shutting down their computers with the home screen every time.
Do you want to hear? Okay, since we're going off topic for a short period here, for those who haven't heard, I work in television and I work in a lot of reality shows, and I worked on a show like 2 years ago, and it was a really difficult show and a show that I was very proud of, and we finished it. And the day we wrapped, it was a Friday, and I was the last one there just in case we heard from the network. Well, I went out to lunch with the 2 executive producers, and they started buying rounds of beers and rounds of beers. And we're like, we're done. And the 3 of us get completely hammered. And all of a sudden, at the restaurant, we all get a text or an email from the network saying, for the final episode, we would like you to put in 30 seconds of the Colgate smile moment. And I'm like, are you effing kidding me? Really? And I had to go back into work, hammered, wasted, with my 2 bosses, and get on a conference call with New York and pretend that we were okay. As we discussed having to make a 30-second montage of people from this show smiling at the camera, and put in a little Colgate seal every once in a while, ID. And let me tell you, montages don't just happen. They take time, and you have to think them out, and you have to pick the music and get everything to hit at the right beats. I was just like, that's kind of a little insider fun fact, but it was funny. I was sitting there at the desk, and I was hammering. I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to make this happen?
So how does this fit in with the Agent Rummy mantra of "you're old, you drink, you forget"?
I rambled too.
Well, no, I mean, so you were drunk. How could you remember to put together this mantra?
Well, I'm old, I drink, I forget. My brain is more like Swiss cheese, kind of like Quantum Leap.
Yeah. So you're able to.
I remember
function.
that moment, but we were pretty drunk, and 4:00 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
I was working for Brits. What can I tell you? They know
how to
Brits enjoy their lunch.
There's only one thing worse than working for the Brits. That's working for the Frenchies.
Oh, I love the Brits. They're the best.
Yeah, they are pretty cool.
But when they say, let's go out and have a pint, you go out and you have a pint.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we have two things we can pontificate on this episode. In this episode, the clairvoyant, whether or not it's Nash, it doesn't matter. The clairvoyant is talking through Nash, and he's saying that Sky is going to give them, he says, whoever we is, what they want, and she will die in the process. What do you think that means?
Her liver?
They want the 325.
Oh. That would also make sense that Agent Han wanted everybody on the plane killed except for Agent Coulson, who had the GH-325 in him.
And thank you, Haley, for pointing out the obvious, because I didn't see it.
Neither did I. Haley for the win.
Oh.
Okay. Then the other thing we saw, I don't know if you saw this, Will, or not, the tag scene of the Director Fury running around the streets of Washington, D.C., getting shot at, and ultimately the Winter Soldier. Yeah, you saw that scene?
Yeah, I saw that. That was also, what's mostly the trailer that they've been airing for a long time. That's 80% of the trailer itself. Mm-hmm. And it's just, they actually showed the scene with Fury.
Actually talking to his Jarvis-like car.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or, his Jarvis-like car or Siri.
I'll call it Jarvis in this instance.
Do we have to pay royalties now for that? Because I said Siri.
Or are they going to pay us for advertising?
They should pay us, right? Product placement. See, Siri.
There you go.
Siri never gets me lost. Siri's
Apple Stargate Pioneer, write out the check.
Or just, a new Mac Pro, the cool little black pill ones that they came out with.
That would be awesome. Apple, if somebody's listening, we could use some new Macs.
Oh yeah, I'll make you a beautiful little promo tape. Toys are now high-tech hardware, speaking of which.
So we see this great scene of Fury getting his butt kicked on the vehicles, fighting the good fight, taking on the DC Metro's best as they're trying to drill him with their automatic weapons, which I have no idea why they're equipped with such, but they are. And his vehicle's getting pretty shot up. And, I would think that the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. would have bulletproof windows, but apparently he doesn't, or likes to drive with the windows down.
It was a hot day. He drove with the windows down.
Yeah. The man doesn't like to sweat. Yeah, okay.
The man doesn't like to sweat, but he wears a leather trench coat and a turtleneck. But he doesn't like to sweat.
That's why he had to roll the windows down.
Right, exactly. It doesn't come with AC.
The government has to stop somewhere. It's like those
government fleet cars. He probably had to crank the window down too, not automatic windows.
I had crank windows all the way up until about 7 years ago.
It's actually more expensive for the government to order cars without radios in it and with windows that are cranks than it is just to get those options now.
But they probably still do it.
Not anymore.
SP with insider information.
Yes. So anyway, we see this scene. He's getting his butt kicked. Do you think he makes it out of that SUV alive?
No.
Haley?
I missed that scene.
Okay.
You know what? Go ahead and hate me on this one. And Haley, I'm really, really sorry. But at this point, it's obvious what's happening in Winter Soldier. And I believe it's probably going to be within the first 10 minutes because if they showed it to everyone. Scenes like that play out usually happen within the first... It's either the scene that the movie opens with, or it's the scene immediately after that, the scene after the credits.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have seen scenes of Director Fury talking to Captain America.
Those could be flashbacks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to be spoilerific, but
I read some spoilers on IMDb, so...
Oh, you can't take part in the conversation.
It was so frustrating. I was like, I didn't mean to read that. I can't unread it.
You've seen it. You can't unsee it.
Well, we'll be able to talk about it in a couple of days. But, Haley, I really understand what your loss is of not seeing that scene because I was talking about it to a guy I work with that he saw the ABC feed on the abc.com. The feed that they just released a week early so everybody could see it and go to the movie, get hyped up and go to the movie. And he said, I started talking about the scene and he's like, what are you talking about? I said, the scene where Fury's running around DC in an SUV. He's like, I did not see that.
Well, it wasn't an official scene. Here's the thing, because ABC even announced this beforehand, because I caught this. I did not see that scene when I saw it at Paley Fest.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the scene, and it wasn't on Hulu, which is how I watch a lot of TV either.
That's how
the
he
scene
did.
The scene was only on ABC. And I think it was the day before, I was watching something else on ABC, and it said, tune in tomorrow night's episode of S.H.I.E.L.D. and watch a special extended scene from Captain America Winter Soldier.
So it was probably more of a trailer than it was a part of the episode.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was.
Well, I mean, you could consider it both. It was an actual scene from the movie. It has been pieces of it have been parts of the trailers that we've seen, but it was a full-blown scene, and it dovetailed exactly right after the scene that we just saw with the bus turning around and Victoria Hand saying, I want everybody dead except for Coulson. So it just fit in nicely with everything.
When you go and see the movie, you'll see that in the movie.
Yes. Yes, you will. Do you guys think we'll see any of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the movie?
Well, we're seeing Sitwell.
Mm-hmm. Because he'll be on the Lorien Star, I believe.
Yeah, he'll be on the boat.
It was like Lemurian. I don't remember.
How did you guys get that? Did you watch the trailer frame by frame?
No, I had the
when they were
closed
talking.
captioning on. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's Lorien Star. It's the same Stratocarrier that we have seen in the trailers already.
Oh, and by the way, am I the only one? Well, I know I'm not, because I'm the big dodo, but I was kind of surprised to watch the bus land on an aircraft carrier and fit. I was like, oh, isn't that special?
Well, if you're just going straight up and down, you can fit the thing in a tennis court.
You could fit a tennis court inside the bus.
I was a little disappointed they didn't land on the helicarrier.
I think that was what they were trying to portray, but they just didn't have the budget to actually show it in flight.
Well, it looked too small to be the helicarrier.
Yeah, and well, it was big enough to put those other S.H.I.E.L.D. planes on it. The other planes on deck were the smaller little planes that we've seen made up with the bus before.
Yeah.
And what kind of planes would they be?
I don't know. Haley, do you know?
I would think that you would be the expert on that.
Yeah, you would think. I just haven't gotten into it. It was a cool little plane. It's the Garrett style plane that we saw a few episodes back that was married to the top of the bus.
Oh, doing the piggyback, just like the space shuttle used to do on giant 747s.
Yep.
See, Haley, back when we were younger, there was this thing called the space shuttle, and before it went up into space, they would transport in the back of a 747.
Yes.
I still want to be an astronaut when I grow up.
Hey, did you guys see the mashup that somebody did? They did a great job with Superman and Gravity.
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
Oh yes.
It's hysterical. It's really funny.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's really well done.
Okay.
It's billed as a deleted scene from Gravity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll have to watch Gravity first.
Not really. You could just go ahead and watch it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's not going to spoil anything.
Because the scene that they cut it with is like the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Oh, okay. I have the DVD, or I have the Blu-ray. I just haven't watched it yet. Because I've been busy watching Arrow and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Walking Dead and, everything else. Just haven't had time.
Don't you have a job?
Yeah, and that too. Yeah, I go to work and I work out because, all these superhero people are making me feel inferior, so I got to get my body back into shape, which is really hard once you get beyond 40, by the way.
No kidding.
Dang, I just ran 9 miles today. I was like, oh, do I have to? Oh, just want to stop. Oh, stop.
You know what I did today?
What's that?
I ate pizza and chicken wings.
Oh, dang you. Dang you. Dang you to
chicken at lunch.
Asgard. Okay. Do you guys have anything else? Any other notes that you want to mention about the episode?
I enjoyed the story in the car between Coulson and, see how I forget people's names? Paxton. I'm going to call him Paxton. Yeah, Garrett. They were just reminiscing about good old days, and Garrett completely forgot that Coulson was at certain events.
Right.
Yeah.
And saying, you didn't come down through the skyline. He said, yeah, I know, but it makes a better story, right?
Right. And then the most direct tie-in was when Fitz called Simmons, and Simmons had to dash because she said something's happening, or agents running around into the Situation Room.
Oh, that reminds me, the blood. I think Triplet was sent there to keep an eye on Simmons, and not in a good way. And I don't know if they knew or not, but Simmons does have the blood of Sky with the GH325 in it. So I think that's going to be a big issue.
Yeah. I think that's why I was mentioning I think there's 3 storylines going on. There's the taking care of Coulson, there's the investigating the blood and where it came from, and there's the clairvoyance.
Mm-hmm. It would be nice to know what Tahiti stands for too. I hope they open up that can of worms. Otherwise,
and
it's
what the
bug
R
me.
in ICER stands for.
I know that too. Come on, guys. Don't leave me hanging. Don't do it. Oh, one more news item I saw today and I tweeted this too on my Twitter account. I saw on USA Today that they opened up their Save Our Show poll that they do every year with shows that are on the bubble. And while they showed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as probably an ABC show that's going to be picked up, it still is on the poll as one that if you want to save it, you should vote for it.
Save it!
Mm-hmm. So go to USA Today or my Twitter feed at Stargate Pioneer and you can find the link there.
I don't see this one getting canceled.
No.
I don't either, but hey, if you want one of the other shows to save, you can go there and find that out. Or if you really hate a show, you can actually vote that down too. I don't know why they do that, but they do. So, anywho, Haley, you got anything else?
Not really. I'm just ready to go see Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm. What's as we record, how much time you got before you leave?
We'll probably leave in like 3 hours. Make sure that we get there early and can get a big enough chunk of seats for all of us.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's going to suck not taking notes and then podcasting on.
I might go see it again on Saturday.
Uh-huh. Yeah, me too. I might see it twice on Saturday. Maybe 3 times.
I bought my ticket for Saturday, and it's opening in a bunch of places here tonight. And I might just go and see it tonight if I can get in as well. The lucky thing around here, more and more theaters are starting to discover that it's worth their while to have numbered seating.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that you're not, so, you don't have to, you know what? I'm going to be 50. I do not want to stand in line for 4 hours so I can try and get a good seat. I want to go online, pick my seat, buy my ticket, and then walk in before the movie starts. And I have my seat.
I like seeing the previews personally.
Yeah. I don't mean before the
movie.
movie.
But having to get there like half an hour before the previews even start, just so you can not be sitting in the front row.
Mm-hmm. And watch all those commercials. Ugh.
More than that. You have to be
not even just the commercials,
like
like the stupid movie trivia that they run in a loop before.
Where the answer is always Julia Roberts.
Sometimes it's George Clooney.
Sometimes it's George Clooney. It's Julia Roberts or George Clooney.
Oh, I wonder how much their agents paid for that to happen. Okay, so end of the beginning. It was a great episode. A lot of questions. I'm sure we will still have questions. I mean, we've got 6 more episodes of a run until the end here. And so everything's not going to come to a halt next week. But I think the story will build further and further until the end. We will be there with you. Turn, Turn, Turn is the next episode.
Which is the name of a song.
Yeah, that's true. And we will be hopefully giving you a podcast out in a couple of days after you hear this of Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Oh, I got one more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
One more thing. Just it's something. So they were in Georgia and they were in the UK and they were all in different places around the globe at the same time when all the stuff went down. And within an hour, they were all at the hub again. I want to know how these people get around so quickly. Are they using the same card the Winchesters use to get from one part of the country to the next part in less than a day?
No, they're using those special, hypersonic planes, the smaller ones.
Yeah, they're doing like suborbital flight paths and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't explain the Winchesters.
I don't care about
Magic.
the Winchesters. This is S.H.I.E.L.D.
I was just noticing when I was watching the episode again last night, and when they were on comm with everybody and the 3 sets of pairs were all in different parts of the world, and it would say underneath it's they're in Georgia and they're in UK and there was another place, and all of a sudden all this crap went down and 15 minutes later they were all on the bus.
15 minutes later they were all at the hub.
At the hub. They were all at the hub. And I'm like, okay, even if you have these incredible planes, it still takes you time to get to the planes. I mean, I live couple miles from here, it still takes me a half hour to get home sometimes.
Well, not everyone has traffic like LA does.
Yeah, those roads suck.
But they're in the UK.
Those
I didn't say where the UK. I didn't say if it was Scotland or England or.
So the planes probably have.
They're like 40 seconds from the airport.
Yeah, the planes probably have a, come get me now function like the Batmobile, and they just press a button and it takes off and it hovers. They get up in it and they take off.
There's just no passage of time. That's what I'm complaining about. There's just simply no passage of time.
Jeez.
Everything. If you notice, everything happened in like one day. Okay, maybe 2 days.
Yeah. So.
They got to keep those stakes up.
I mean, this is not a serious show. This is a popcorn show. We're talking about people with supernatural abilities here. Come on. Asgard, rainbow bridges.
But we're pretty sure there's no such thing as psychics.
Rainbow bridges, the gayest bridge in comic books.
I mean, you've got the Hulk. Come on. It's just that stuff doesn't happen in real life.
How is S.H.I.E.L.D. willing to definitively say there's no such thing as psychics? That's what I don't get.
Well, because they've investigated it and they haven't found any yet.
That doesn't mean there aren't any out there. Just like the U.S. investigates extraterrestrials.
Yeah, we do. Well, it's not extraterrestrials. We investigate sightings, UFOs. That's what we investigate. Because from a national defense perspective, not from maybe these are from outer space. Although, President Clinton, good on you. There could be aliens out there. I wouldn't be surprised if they come visit us.
You know too much that you're not sharing.
Well, I also agree with every single other serious scientist out there that says if we do get visited by aliens, we're going to get our butts kicked.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Just like I'm fine. Like if the price I have to pay to see a real live dinosaur is to be eaten by a dinosaur, I'm fine with that. If the price I have to pay to see real aliens is to be killed by them, I'm fine with that.
To Serve Man is a cookbook. Once again, before your time, Haley.
Yeah.
Yes. And yet Terra Nova never went anywhere on Fox.
Yeah, that's because the writing was kind of terrible.
It was terrible. I tried to stick with it. I think I got to do the first 4 episodes, and I was just like, yeah, I'm out.
I watched all of it, and towards the end, it was like finally starting to get good, but it was too little too late.
Yeah, that's kind of felt like Dollhouse. I actually really enjoyed the second season of Dollhouse.
I think I just came in the end. How many seasons did it have? Was it 2 or 3?
2.
It was 3. It was just 2?
2.
Oh.
2.
Then I watched the second season.
Which was completely different than the first season.
Yeah. Yep. I was totally lost for quite some time, actually.
It happens.
Mm-hmm. I'm old. I don't drink, and I forget. All right. You guys ready to wrap up for today?
Certainly are.
All right. We will see you in a couple of days, but with Captain America, but we will see you next week with Turn, Turn, Turn.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield.
We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gonnageek.com and you will find all of our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual host and do not represent Legends, Stream, or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the property of the Disney Corporation. No infringement is intended.